Once upon a time, there was a beautiful girl who lived with her father in a large and luminous house. They've lived happily for many years, until one day, the father fell in love with a woman and married her. That was how the family grew. And suddenly, it wasn't just her and her father. Now, she also had a stepmother and 2 stepsisters. The young lady thought it was the beginning of a beautiful period, but she had never imagined how cruel her new sisters were.
Does this fool have to be in the same room as we are?
One of the stepsisters asked.
If she wants to have some bread, she must earn it out of the kitchen.
The other one shouted. The stepsisters cruelly took off Cinderella's dresses and gave her all dirty clothes. Every day, the young lady got up, lit the fire, cleaned the house, cooked and washed the clothes. At night, she was forced to sleep on the ashes of the chimney. Consequently, she would always wear dirty clothes, and so they called her Cinderella. Some days later, the king gave a ball to which all ladies of the land were invited. The king wanted to meet them. Maybe he would fall in love and marry one of them. When the stepsisters heard about the ball, they were so excited that they immediately began to choose dresses to make sure they looked gorgeous.
Comb our hair, clean our shoes, and iron our dresses,
ordered the stepsisters.
We are going to the ball.
Cinderella, in tears, did everything she had been told to do. She also wanted to go to the castle, but her stepmother didn't let her.
You have no shoes or a dress.
Pew.
If you them within an hour.
In response to Cinderella's pleas, the evil woman spilled the lentils that were in a bowl to the ground and said,
You don't have a fancy dress to go. You can't dance.
Cinderella ran to the garden. All the birds came to help her, and the lentils were immediately back in the bowl. The young lady was happy and ran to her stepmother to tell her that she'd finished the job. But her joy lasted short.
I'll laugh at you,
said the stepmother. Cinderella broke into tears. Then the stepmother and stepsisters turned around and left. Once everyone was gone, Cinderella said,
But how can you help me?
Immediately, her wish was heard, and her fairy godmother showed up in the bedroom. She had a magic wand in her hands and said, Cinderella asked,
No.
Immediately, the fairy touched Cinderella with her magic wand, and a beautiful dress and a pair of crystal shiny slippers appeared on her. She also turned a pumpkin into a carriage and 2 mice into its drivers. The fairy said, She added. Cinderella went to the castle. As soon as she entered,
She's absolutely beautiful.
Everybody was enchanted by her beauty, including the prince, who immediately asked her to dance. They danced all night long. The prince was so delighted with her that there was no place in his heart for anybody else. Time passed so quickly that the bells began to ring, indicating it was already midnight. Cinderella was worried, therefore she ran to the exit, getting away from the prince. He went after her, but couldn't reach her. Fortunately, he realized there was still hope. At the end of the stairs, he found a slipper, one that Cinderella had lost. The next day, the prince visited every house in the kingdom, looking for his beloved. He had the slipper with him, and every young woman tried it on, but it didn't fit. When the prince arrived at Cinderella's home, the two stepsisters tried as hard as they could to make the slipper fit, but it didn't. Thinking there wasn't anybody else in the house, the prince was about to leave when Cinderella escaped from the bedroom where her stepmother had her locked in. She approached the prince, and he put the slipper on her feet without making any effort at all. Then, both looked at each other, and he immediately recognized Cinderella. He knew she was the one he had fallen in love with. The stepmother and stepsisters, full of rage, denied Cinderella was the young woman the prince was looking for, claiming she had not been at the party. Cinderella took the other crystal slipper out of the pocket of her apron. There was no doubt. The prince kneeled and proposed to her. She accepted, and they lived happily ever after.